Well, unfortunate and distressing pictures and reports coming in there from India's IT city, Bengaluru. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw of Biocon and Sanjay Dalmia of the Dalmia Group join us now. Kiran and Sanjay, appreciate you joining us. Kiran, you've been trolled on Twitter for your comments on this matter, but there seems to be a complete breakdown of law and order. You've been traveling through the city. What do you make of the violence and the response from the state government?
I think it is absolutely deplorable, it is shocking, and this is a shame on our country as a whole. I think it is time for Chief Minister Jayalalitha and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah to come together and make a joint call to all their citizens to stop this violence. I think this is absolutely unacceptable. Such a breakdown of law and order when people just don't feel safe anymore. I mean, this is absolutely unacceptable. Law and order and lawlessness is something that we just have to, lawlessness cannot be accepted and tolerated, and law and order must be the order of the day. And if the government cannot enforce law and order, if the police machinery cannot keep its citizens safe, then maybe the army needs to be called in. But I think this is the time for both chief ministers to make a joint call for peace.
Kiran, you're talking about how the administration has failed or seems to have failed at this point in time, at least to try and control the arson and the violence that we've seen. It's pretty much been a free-for-all. Do you believe the state administration has underestimated the scale of the problem, has not been able to anticipate the kind of protests and violence that we've now seen on the streets of Bengaluru?
Well, first and foremost, I think the police are outnumbered, unfortunately. They are not equipped, they are not prepared to deal with such levels of violence. That is the first problem. Secondly, I think if you do have a rapid action force that can be sent out to these kind of situations, then they must be effective. But this is ridiculous that in a city like Bangalore, we can't even, give security and safety to the common citizen, the common business person. I mean, burning down these buses of one company, targeting Tamil Nadu companies, and I'm sure likewise Karnataka people in Tamil Nadu. This is what kind of law and order do we have? We are one country. We have to behave as one country. We cannot behave in such a lawless way. These kind of wars that we are having have to stop.
You're absolutely right. Let me also bring in Sanjay Dalmia, chairman of the Dalmia Group. Mr. Dalmia, the common man, as Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw pointing out there, feels vulnerable on the streets of Bengaluru today. It's had a serious impact not just on everyday life, but also has had serious implications for business. How are you reading this?
Well, Cauvery water, you see, what should I say? I mean, I don't understand. The point is, tribunals were made many, many years back to have sharing of river water. A formula was made and given. So I don't understand this dispute. A formula was given because it's not only linked to Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. It happens in many states. So once a formula is given, I don't understand why it should not be adhered to. Why the judiciary has to step in. And I don't understand, honestly, you are situated in Bangalore. Not that Bangalore is different than other areas of Karnataka, but why the hell Bangalore should be disrupted? If it does affect, it affects certain areas of the farmland in Karnataka, which probably will have to do away with that water. But why should Bangalore be closed? I don't understand that.
Well, people grappling with the situation in Bengaluru. Also joining us on the phone line is Ashok Soota, the executive chairman of Happiest Minds and one of the founding members of Mindtree. Mr. Soota, thanks very much for joining us. It's an unfortunate turn of events in India's IT capital. We've seen a complete breakdown of law and order. The state administration seems to have failed to be able to bring things under control at this point in time. Specifically from an IT point of view, people struggling to get to work. What do you believe is likely to be the outcome now? I'm sure most companies have already fallen on a plan B, contingency plans are in place, but if this were to continue, what will the implications be?
Sure. Well, good evening, Shireen. Thank you for your question. Very pertinent. Obviously, today was a big shock. As you know, some companies in Bangalore were closed today, including ourselves and I think including some of the larger IT companies, because of the confusion on the Eid holiday. And we then decided to allow the people who wanted to take the holiday off tomorrow to take it off, but we had already declared today as a holiday. So there was no real impact on a very large segment of the IT industry today. However, now take us, for example. We have a potential acquisition candidate with us tomorrow. We have a large customer from America here day after tomorrow. If he's not already left his country, then he'll probably stop because the U.S. consulate has already issued a sort of a caution advice to American citizens. So it is disturbing. There's no, you made a very frightful statement of what would be the impact if it were to continue. I'm assuming that this is something which would now be brought under control. It's unfortunate what's happened. And this is really following on multiple types of disturbances and closures over the last previous week also. And we just hope that some sense will get restored tomorrow itself in terms of the law and order situation.
Mr. Soota, this is probably the last thing that Indian IT needed at this point in time. We've already seen a difficult quarter, and we've already seen sort of worries mounting for Indian IT at this point in time. We've seen those, profit warnings coming in from various companies. If this were to, and I hope that things are brought under control, but if these advisories were to continue, if contingency plans will have to be forced out by companies like yours, what could the impact really be as far as business is concerned?
One thing is that I don't like to contemplate on the thought that a situation like this where people couldn't get to work or had to leave their work for those who were working so that they could get back and be safe would continue. I think my own belief is that if it did, we'd work out, as you said, contingency plans. We'd find ways of being able to ensure deliverables to our customers continue without disruption. It would certainly impact incoming travel into the city, which of course will have a longer term spin-off because projects may get delayed or reviews may not get done. Having said that, I believe we'll come out of it. It is a grim time. It's a horrible time. I do believe we'll come out of it okay.
We do hope so, and we wish you and your colleagues and your team all the very best. Stay safe, Mr. Soota. Thanks very much for joining us here on CNBC TV 18.